Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you. Thank you very much for honoring the Mayor's call to come and join us this morning as we reach this very significant milestone in the life and history of the JRA. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for honoring this meeting and giving the support and also leading the charges in making sure that the citizens of Johannesburg begin to understand that we are turning on a new leaf and we are really wanting to intervene where it matters to make sure that the city is able to move forward in the objectives of the GDS 2040. I would want to honor and acknowledge the protocol that MMC Grief has followed and also acknowledge our MMC for Transportation, MMC Walters. This is October Transport Month. I'm sure you'll be aware. Since it started, we've been busy with the MMC going around doing quite a number of initiatives that in response to the call by the Minister of Transport at national level to really elevate discourse on transport as a sector during the month of October. Right at the beginning of the month, on the 2nd of October, we launched the Integrated Transport Plan Strategic Framework, which is really the guiding document that guides all of us that operate within the transport sector. That is led by the Transport Department in the city, and we as the Johannesburg Roads Authority would then contribute to that document. We are 5 days now from the launch of the BRT Phase 1B, which happened on Monday, and it's very fitting then for us to continue sustaining that momentum during this month by launching the Resurfacing program. There are other exciting activities. There's a calendar of activities for the rest of the month that will be led by the MMC, and we really call on you to keep the support and make sure that the discourse continues until the end of the month. I came into the JRA at the beginning of September last year. So beginning of September this year, I finished 1 year. And I think at the end of August, I recruited a team of communications experts to come and support us at the JRA to help us to be able to communicate better the things that we've been doing in the past year. And the first exercise they embarked on was to go and ask, just a quick scan, asking people who the JRA is and who the managing director of the JRA is. They gave us a whole lot of answers, but the one that I liked was one was given by this one person who said, it's that entity that's responsible for potholes and traffic signals that are not working. And when asked about the leader of the JRA, they said, we know they've got a new chap. We know he's doing some good work, but you know, that's all we know. So that begins to tell you that I came in very quietly in the back door, analyzed what was happening within the environment, and elected to stay within and focus and carve out a clear trajectory that we would follow over the next 5 years. Look at the issue of resourcing within the company, both in terms of finances and in terms of human resources. Determine whether the strategy 2017 that we've now agreed, we will be able to deliver. And we found that we needed to reorganize ourselves a bit, which we've now done. We are busy capacitating ourselves to be able to deliver on the strategy. And we've now put plans and we're starting to implement programs that relate exactly to that program. And I think now it's opportune, now is the time for us to start engaging people. We've got a story to tell, we've got the detail of what we plan to do, we've got the funding allocation, thank you Mayor, and I think we're ready to go out there and talk to people. The one thing you don't want to do is to come in and talk too much with nothing behind you, and I wasn't going to do that. So let's go through what we've prepared for you today so at least you get to understand and appreciate what we're about. It's a two-part event. When we finish here, we're going to ask you to come with us. We will walk through the streets of Rosebank all the way down to Jansmats Avenue, down Jellicoe Road, and I think you will begin to see our team initiating the process in the Rosebank area of resurfacing. The program has already started. There are some roads that we've already completed in some regions, and I think this is to formally elevate the profile of the program, because you will see our construction vehicles and teams in quite a number of parts of the city. And I think please just bear with us. If you get a bit frustrated, just know that it's the city working to make the lives of our people better. There's a couple of messages that we agreed we would want to send out as we have these discussions with you this morning. Number one, I think we want to be very clear that we have a vision of where we would want to get by 2040. But as we dream on that vision for 2040, we want to reassure you that we are not neglecting some of the burning issues that our people are grappling with on a day-to-day basis. This resurfacing program is one of those decided direct interventions that the city, led by the mayor, is intervening with to address some of the current problems that we're experiencing, while we organize ourselves to be able to deliver on the long-term vision of 2040. Number two, if there was ever a feeling that at some point the JRA was wandering around aimlessly with no technical capacity, not knowing what they're doing, this is the time to reassure you that we are now properly organized. We are now engineering inclined. I'm a civil engineer myself, graduated from Wits University with a master's degree with extensive experience in civil engineering. We have amassed a technical team that knows exactly what we are doing. We are following a very programmatic approach to designing and planning our programs these days. We are applying science into our logic, and we're going to deliver very structured programs as we proceed. We also want to call on you to understand that the city has adopted a policy that says we want our streets to be complete, our streets to be shared. Streets are not only meant for cars, they are meant for pedestrians, they are meant for cyclists. We're going to be rolling out programs that are going to make sure that we reallocate road space so that we accommodate everybody in a safe manner. This slide here talks to the strategic context. The one thing I can't do is to stand up and talk about the JRA without telling you how we fit in the bigger picture of the city. As I indicated, the first driving and guiding document that we have is the growth and development strategy of the city. It has set very clear visions and outcomes in terms of where we need to get by 2040. We want a city that is resilient. You know, resilience is about bouncing back. You can fall, you can encounter problems, but you should be able to bounce back. We want sustainability. We won't live forever. And whatever it is that we do, our sons and grandchildren are going to inherit it, and we want it to be a good environment. And then we want livability. For a long time, the Johannesburg area has attracted people into the vicinity because people wanted opportunity, because people were poor in the other areas and they wanted to get to the land of opportunity. What we would want to see by 2040 is that we attract people because the quality of life in Johannesburg is the best. And people want to come and identify with this city because they feel that it's livable. We have brought back the whole vision of the GDS 2040 into 10 priorities that the city has defined for the mayor's term of office. And that is what we are going to be implementing over the next 3 years. This will put us in good stead to achieve some of the priorities that have already been set for the first decade, and so we proceed towards the third decade. With that, we decided to pick 2 key programs that we want to drive the implementation of the 10 priorities. Number one, the mayor announced in his State of the City address that we are implementing the corridors of freedom and transit-oriented development. What that is about, it's number one, we want to stitch the city together so that you eliminate all of these divides that the apartheid system created in our city. Number two, you want to make sure that public transport forms the backbone of any mobility in the city. So the vision of corridors is to make sure that everybody is within 5 minutes walking distance of a public transport facility. Number three, you want to create places where citizens can live, work, and play, which means mixed-use developments, so people can work there, people can have recreational facilities, people can go to church there, and people can have commercial activities and sporting activities. And that's what we would want to see through the implementation of corridors of freedom and transit-oriented development. This will start small in the first year or two, but we promise you, over the medium term, this is going to be the big program that the city will be driving, and it's going to take up the lion's share of our budget. The second one is around developmental service delivery, and the mayor always talks about co-production, which is a term that really seeks to ensure that from a developmental local government perspective, you begin to look at our citizens and communities with a different eye. They are not subjects that are supposed to receive services from government, but they are partners in providing those services. The logic is for government to move more towards a role of facilitating development when communities do the actual delivery. And I think we're looking for quite a number of opportunities to make sure that communities, in fact, can start participating in the provision of services. It's about job creation, and it's about focusing on the youth and SMMEs. We had a strategic breakaway a few weeks ago, and we took a presentation on the picture of the youth situation in our city. And I can tell you it was a very scary picture that I saw. So it is very, very important that all of us come together to be able to put a program where youth is concerned.